Why would someone pay more money for a wedge that's in worse condition than another one? Let's find out, shall we? Okay, boys and girls, it is test time. Spot the most expensive wedge here and spot the one that probably will go for the least amount of money. Now, if you said this one would go for the least amount of money, you'd probably be wrong. From the research that I've done over the last couple of days as I acquired all of these wedges, and I wanted to know roughly what they're going for. Now, they're exactly the same brand, they're exactly the same model, two of them have the exact same grind, and I wanted to get them as close as I possibly could to each other. If you said this one was the most expensive one, you would be correct. However, the condition of it still is not the best through these three wedges. Here I have a Titleist SM6 M grind wedge in reasonable condition. However, we've still got quite a few scuff marks on the face. The grooves are somewhat worn, and as you can see, we're starting to get quite a few nicks across the face. Number two is an SM5 wedge, so the previous model to that one as well. Again, a big wear spot on the bottom there, quite a few dings, and the face is somewhat chewed up. Now, I'm not saying this wedge, this SM5, is a bad wedge when you're starting the game. The one on the end here, which sparked this whole video idea, is in immaculate condition. I haven't seen one like this in good condition, and since essentially that they came out, I even had this particular wedge in the bag, and this is the Titleist SM4 wedge. And I was shocked when I looked on eBay when the condition of this is virtually new. I mean, okay, it's not new. I mean, we've still got some scratch marks, a few dents, but I mean, the grooves are very good. But you would easily and comfortably pick up a wedge. I mean, you might have to do some digging to get a good condition one for £40. And it got me thinking, maybe not the SM5. I think this potentially is a bit exaggerated if this one was to go for a bit more than this. But the point I'm trying to make is that if an SM6 or an SM7 was in the same condition as this one here, it would go for more money than this one. And the thing that baffles me, and I think we'd all like to agree with this point, is that new grooves are the best thing that you can get a hold of.
When we're talking about spin, I always like to start with groove wear.
The face wear is also a great way. So if you see a marking on the face that's in that sweet spot of grooves 2 through 5 that looks really worn down, things like that will be signs that it might be time to make a change. This is going to translate into a tighter lower window for our players to work through, but also a tighter proximity on those greens, giving them more chances to make more putts.
The limits have been put in place, and an SM4 in the wrapper. Those grooves are as sharp as they potentially could ever be, should and will perform than a burnt out SM7, a burnt out SM8. Now, there's abundance of those SM7 and SM8s out there, and to be honest, as time goes on, they're going to get in worse and worse condition, like the SM4s and SM5. So it's going to be quite tough for you to find one like this and as in good condition as I have here. Every Vokey wedge, illegal, conforming, you name it, over the last 10 years will go for at least £30. The name, the brand, people want it, and there's always going to be that demand. At the top end of the bracket, you can have the brand new ones coming out at 100, 120, 140 pounds. But there's a lot of digging and a lot of searching, and if you're looking to upgrade your wedges this year, and this goes for TaylorMade and Cleveland and Callaway as well, it's in the trenches, it's in the middle that you can find some outrageous deals. Find a wedge that's 5 years old, but it's only been out a handful of times, and you're getting virtually the same performance as an amateur golfer with the wedge games that we all have as a brand new one that comes out the wrapper. Brackets, and I must say this before we go any further, and to be honest, the person that I'm probably speaking about isn't watching my YouTube video, is probably out practicing his wedge game, and that's if you have an obscene wedge game and you practice it a lot, and you're practicing on grass pitching areas, on grass ranges, you're practicing out on the golf course, and you hit up to 400 wedge shots a week in 3 different sessions, and your wedges get burnt out after a year, then at the end of the day, I'm gonna say buy £450 worth of brand new wedges. Go and get fitted. Make sure you got the right shaft, make sure you got the right grip, make sure you got the right bounce, because you're investing not only the right amount of time into the certain part of the game that's going to matter most, but you also need the wedges that are suited to you. Hence why, if you practice your putting a lot, I want you to spend £300 on a putter, because that's money well spent and better invested and easier to see returns on than a £450 driver fitting. And to follow on from this point, I want to show you another tip and trick if you did want a brand new wedge or the newer models that have come out. And because the SM9 has just been released, there's going to be a lot of places, i.e. pro shops, this time of year that are looking to get rid of the old wedges. And this happens for every single manufacturer, not just Titleist. And as I'll show you here with the SM8 wedges, we'll have a quick look through of what we got. £99, £99, £99, and all of these are pre-owned, so obviously they've been hit. As you can see, face has been marked, scratches, potentially the grooves have a bit of wear on them. Some of them go cheaper, but as we can see, £99 on average. If we just go to this little button here and get rid of the used ones and just the newer ones, I literally just come out and we do a bit of scrolling, we can start to see the brand new ones still in the wrapper are still going for just around £100, £102 with bids. Okay, some of them are going for 120, but if I was you and you're investing £100 in a brand new wedge, maybe you need a certain bounce, maybe you need a certain loft, maybe there's a gap in your bag and you need to blend it with your irons. As you can see here, the brand new ones are going for £100 anyway, so why would you spend £1 less on one that's already been hit? Now, some of you might have seen my Rife American Golf wedge video, £49. I actually gave it quite a good review. A lot of you commented on it, and a lot of you said, why would you buy a brand new wedge at £49 when you could get a second-hand one, i.e. the ones in the bag here? You could easily find an SM6, maybe not in the best condition, for around £50. And I would agree with you. And to be honest, the only reason that I said the Rife is a good option for a beginner is because at least you get to go to American Golf, hit a demo one, try it with someone that obviously knows a bit more about you than golf, and get some questions answered, and off you go. Now, if you've done your research and potentially been watching the channel for a while, you could go and find a great Vokey SM6, SM5 in good condition, hopefully now, for around £50, and I would say that's a better investment. Not only do I think the materials obviously going into a Vokey wedge are obviously more premium, and you go get that level of forgiveness, get a top quality shaft, X, Y, and Z, but also when you do come to sell it, as I said at the start of this video, every Vokey wedge goes for £30. So over that time of you practicing it and potentially ruining it, someone will be starting this game and want a Vokey wedge in the bag, potentially like you did when you bought your £30 Vokey wedge way back when. So I went and got the Rife wedge out of the car, because obviously I still have it, 56-degree wedge as well. But one thing shocked me when I got it out and compared it to the grooves, because let's be honest, that's all I've ever talked about this whole video is grooves, how shallow and small the Rife wedge grooves actually are. Now, I tested and reviewed this on a nice summer day. Grass was dry, not that windy, so I didn't really notice that much effect, and actually I did get quite a bit of spin from the fairway. But you compare it to a Vokey wedge, and I imagine this is the same for every other premium forged wedge, because let's be honest, I've never seen this kind of comparison to any other wedge I've ever reviewed. I mean, they're essentially painted on. Now I look at them compared to the trenches that have been engraved in that Vokey wedge. So that's something to definitely think about. Now let's be honest, I haven't done a particularly extensive review of these three wedges side by side, rough, semi-rough, off the cart path, burnt out groove versus new groove on an older model, you name it. But we are the variables. We are amateur golfers, and our wedge games at the best of times are satisfactory. But time and time again, I see a brand new wedge like a TaylorMade MG3 or a Vokey SM9, you name it, go for an extortionate amount of money that isn't brand new and has a gouge out the back of it, and the face is all blunted, and it gets me thinking people are actually buying the wedge for the logo and the name on the back there to save themselves 20 quid from buying a brand new one. And to be honest, I'm all about saving money, but just go and get fitted for a brand new one. So guys, if you like this video, you potentially might like my American Golf review of that Rife wedge that has a rather interesting trick shot to start it off with. See you guys later.